few breaths. And so if you are enjoying the Pranidhana Mudra, we can bring our hands into that. Index finger, middle finger, ring finger, thumbs, all coming together. Index finger, pinky finger touching, and resting this in your lap. And this gesture can help us with letting go, releasing stress, and helping build empowerment and spiritual connection. So if you're taking the mudra, notice how the fingertips meet each other. Notice any temperature or texture there. And notice the rest of your hands, however your hands are. Notice the sense of atmosphere on them. And then if they're also connected to your lap or any other part of your body, notice that if there's some warmth, texture, or feeling of fabric. Good. Now scanning the body, just a few breaths here, becoming aware if there's anywhere you're holding tension. Remember, we do our best not to judge or criticize. We just take note and invite softening. So if you notice tension or clenching in the jaw or the shoulders, we can name it, tension in the jaw, tension in the shoulders, and then invite it to soften. Couple more breaths, noticing any other areas for you. Returning to our affirmation of the month, I devote my practice to something greater than myself. I devote my practice to something greater than myself. Knowing that that could be anything at all, your family, the environment around you, your own inner peace ripples out. One more breath here. Let it be slow and full. When you feel full, see if you can pause and then sip in a little more. And let it go. All right, I invite you to try a different seated position. See if it works for your body today. To sit on your heels, so this kneeling or thunderbolt position. And then we'll flex the spine forward, inhaling. Exhale, draw the spine back, and you're welcome to let the head and neck get involved. Inhaling, pushing the heart forward, looking up. Exhaling, coming back. If being on your knees and ankles like this doesn't work, just find a different position that does. All right, and then we'll switch our breathing pattern. So wherever you are, just do the opposite. So when we arch our spine back now, we will inhale. Exhale, press the heart forward and back bend. Inhale, rounding forward. Exhale, back bend. A few more like that. All right, then coming to neutral, you can stay on your knees, or if you want to break, come stand up on the knees. Hands to shoulders and draw some backward circles. And let them start to get bigger. Keep in mind you could always do one at a time if that feels more available. breathing. And if you have the space for it, free up your arms so we can extend the arms wide, long, back stroking one arm at a time or simultaneously. Good. Now let's pause with the arms outstretched. If you don't quite have the room, you could keep your hands towards your shoulders. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. Maybe point the fingers down towards the ground here. And drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Come back through neutral, left ear to left shoulder. And come back to neutral. Whew, might shake the arms out. Let's meet in tabletop and then right into Anahata puppy pose. So walking the hands forward, pressing the chest down. If this doesn't feel right in your shoulders, you could try bringing your arms out wider or bending your elbows. Engage your core a bit so we're not just totally swaying into the low back, or you could even play with engaging and releasing. Good. Now thread the needle. So weave your right arm under your left, resting on the right shoulder and upper arm if you can. Keep in mind you could always put a block under your shoulder. Stay for another couple of breaths. And then we'll release this, thread the needle, and go the other way. So weaving your left arm under the right, resting on the left shoulder and upper arm. Give yourself another couple of slow and full breaths here. We're returning to being aware of the breath as often as possible. And when you're ready, let's return to puppy pose. See if you can bring your chin to the ground or towards the ground. Press the tops of your feet down into the ground. And then breathing, come up to tabletop. We'll tuck the toes, find downward facing dog. From down dog, right away, inhale forward to plank. Exhale, drop your knees and take child's pose. Inhale, return to tabletop, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll do that a few times. Inhale to plank, core engaged. Exhale, drop the knees, child's pose. At your own breath, inhale, tabletop, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling plank, exhaling tabletop and child's pose. One more time. Inhale, tabletop, toes tucked. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, tabletop and child's pose. We'll rest here. If you want to give the shoulders a break, you can bend the elbows or bring the hands by the feet. A couple of breaths here, and if you'd like to practice gratitude, you can think of something you're grateful for. All right, as you're ready, let's go ahead and meet in downward facing dog. From your down dog, step or hop up to the top of the mat, forward fold. On an inhale, take your time, rising all the way up, stretching to the sky. And on an exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Pause here for a couple of breaths. Good, and we'll move through some flows to kind of get the blood pumping through our muscles. Inhale to stretch out and up. Exhale to fold all the way down. On your inhale, lift up halfway, hug the shoulder blades to the spine. Exhale to fold down, hands touching the ground or blocks. Step the right foot straight back. We could drop the right knee. On an inhale, try to reach the arms up to the sky. We'll just be here for a breath. And exhale, hands down to the ground. Step yourself to plank pose. Inhale and plank. Exhale, lower down to your belly. Stretch your arms in front of you. And on an inhale, find locust pose. So lifting the arms, lifting the legs, back muscles working. Stay for one more breath. And exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Let your head hang heavy here. Full breath in. Let it go. One more breath. Good. Then if you like three-legged dog, lift the right leg up and back. We'll all step or swing the right foot to the top of the mat, dropping the left knee. Inhale, see if you can stretch the arms up. Stay for a breath. On your next exhale, bring your hands down to the ground. Step the left foot up, forward fold. Inhaling, lift halfway. Exhaling, fold down. Inhaling, rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Breathe. On an inhale, stretch up. On an exhale, fold down. With your inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down, hands touching the ground. Now step the left foot back for warrior two. On an inhale, rise up. Breathe a slow and steady round of breath in warrior two. Next inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to the ground. Step the right foot back, top of a push-up. We inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down. Point the toes back, stretch the arms up by the head. And on an inhale, locust pose, Shalabhasana. Stay for a breath. And lower down. Hands by shoulders, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Let the head get really heavy here. And now lightening the left foot. Inhale, try a three-legged dog. Exhale, step or swing the left foot to the top of the mat. Pivot the right heel down. Warrior two on the other side. So bending into the left leg. Looking over that left arm. Full breath. On an inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, hands down to the ground. Step the right foot up, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart, stay and breathe. On an inhale, let's stretch to the sky. Exhale, fold all the way down. Bringing your hands to the ground, step yourself back into downward facing dog. You could stay here for a couple of breaths or try lowering the elbows and forearms into a dolphin pose. Keep in mind the knees don't have to be straight. We could also tiptoe our feet up a little closer to our elbows. So whether you're in dolphin or down dog, try to let the head be heavy, pushing the ground away really energetically through either the forearms or the hands. Another breath. And then from whichever inverted V sort of shape you're in, go ahead and drop your knees to the ground and come on down to your belly. We'll play with Dhanurasana, bow pose. So elbows pretty well under the shoulders. We could open up the palms. Starting in Sphinx pose, pull the heart forward. If this is kind of icky for the low back, you can wing the elbows out so that way you're not quite so lifted. Let's engage our gluteal muscles and point our toes back as energetically as possible. Pull the heart forward. Breathing like this, slow motion, bend your right knee, doing a hamstring curl, pulling that right foot towards the hip. Let's start with a little twist. So we can pivot on the right elbow, bringing the right fingertips towards the left hand, and then release the left hand back. See if you can catch the right foot. Here's where if you have a strap, it might come in handy. You can also just reach back in space. Excuse me. If you catch the foot, you can imagine kicking the foot into the hand. We're still pushing down through the right arm. And let's go ahead and release. Lower all the way down to your belly and chest. Maybe shimmy the hips a bit. All right, returning to your Sphinx pose. Remember, you can control how high you go. One more time, let's bend the right leg. This time pivoting on the left elbow, and we just do that so we've got a little bit of support in front of us. Try to reach your right hand back. And if you make contact with the foot, you can play with different angles of the arms. So, some schools of thought would say, always do palm out. That's nice if you're holding the foot with the palm out because we get more of a stretch through the pectoral muscles because the arm's in external rotation. Doesn't make it wrong if you're catching it on the outside of the foot. Yeah, so find what works for you. One more breath. See if you can root down through your front arm. Kick the foot back if you've made contact with it, and then lower on down. Shimmy the hips. Let's take a half frog. So bend the right leg out to the right side. Breathing like this, letting the low back release. You could stay just like this, or if you wanted to add a twist, weave the left arm under the right and roll onto your left side. And breathing, we'll go ahead and release that. Coming back onto the belly. Pause here and just notice if the low back is asking less of you, then do that. All right, then we'll find our Sphinx pose again. Engage the glutes, pointing the toes back really energetically, and then bend your left knee, pulling that foot towards the hip. Breathing, this is enough. If you want a little more, then we could pivot on the left elbow so we have that left forearm in front of us and reach the right hand back in space. Maybe it's just reaching back in space, that's fine. Back bend with a little twist. Or maybe you're catching the foot and then kicking foot into hand. Imagine pulling the heart forwards and upwards. Give it another breath. And then release, give yourself a break. When you're ready, rise back up to your Sphinx pose, or maybe it's becoming a baby Sphinx like me. Engage the glutes, bend your left knee. Staying here or pivoting on that right elbow so the right forearm's in front of you, reaching the left hand back in space. If you catch the foot, you might play with the rotation of the arm. So again, palm out gives external rotation, kind of lends to the heart opening practice. Kicking foot into hand if they make contact, rooting down through the parts of your front arm that's connected to the ground. Take another breath. And let's let it go. Shimmy the hips a bit. And moving into a half frog, hike the left leg out to the left side. If this is already hitting the spot, you could stay just like this. Otherwise, you might weave the right arm under the left arm, rolling onto the right side, coming into a twist. And as you're ready, we'll release that. Hands alongside your chest, press yourself up to tabletop. From tabletop, look over your left shoulder. Imagine pulling the right hip back in space as you do this. Looking back towards the left hip or foot. Another breath. Then release through neutral. And look over your right shoulder towards the right foot or hip. Pull the left hip back in space. Keep breathing. And come to neutral. Let's come to stand up on our knees and hands to low back. Lift the heart. If you're someone who really craves camel pose, you're welcome to do that now. I won't be guiding that. I'm thinking we'll just support our low back here as we engage our glutes, press the hips forward and lift the heart. So just really opening up the front body for a couple of breaths. And releasing the arms by your sides. You might shake the wrists out. Give yourself some twists. Returning to tabletop. If you have blocks available, then you might bring them into the picture. Let's play with pigeon pose. If you know pigeon pose is a bad idea for you, you can do figure 4 on your back. Otherwise, so we'll do an upright pigeon. So pull the left knee towards the left wrist, shimmying that left foot towards the right wrist any amount. Slide the right leg back in place. And this is where I'm going to put a block under my left hip. So I'm not even trying to put too much pressure on the knee. And then since I have another block, I'm going to put it on its highest setting. Use it as a bit of a kickstand or a cane. So keeping the heart upright. This gives us a nice stretch through the right hip flexors, as well as the opportunity for some heart opening on the front body. You could also bend your back leg, give yourself a quad stretch. Block could be in either or both hands. You could, of course, be reaching one or both hands back as well. We'll stay for about 3 more breaths. Wherever you've gone, we won't be here too terribly long. Good, and then we'll go ahead and switch. We will come back to pigeon tomorrow for our hip day. But if you're in pigeon, let's go ahead and come back to tabletop. Maybe do a little circling with the hips from tabletop, circling around one way and then the other. All right, from tabletop, right knee towards the right wrist. Shimmy that right foot towards the left. If you've got a block, you can put that under your right hip, little prop. And then bringing the other block under your hands in front of you. Propping yourself up, pulling the heart forward. Breathing like this, maybe adding a bend in the left knee. Maybe reaching one or both hands back. You certainly don't have to. A few breaths wherever you've landed. And let's slowly release. This time we can bring our hips to the ground and swing the legs around. You might keep one block with you and we'll roll onto the spine. Take a couple breaths just as you landed. And then if you wanted to, you could put a block under your sacrum and rest in a supported bridge pose. Or maybe you wanted to stretch your legs up to the sky, supported shoulder stand. Give it another breath wherever you are. And then we can all lower our spine to the ground, open the arms out wide. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, let your knees fall to the left side. And breathing, come back to neutral. Then let your legs fall to the right side. When you're ready, come back to neutral, stretching your legs and your arms long, giving yourself a moment of rest. Today is Wednesday, so we will transition into meditation practice. I'll ring the bell at the 30-minute mark. If you need to depart, then thank you so much for being here. If you have time to stay a bit longer, then you might really leisurely leave this short Shavasana. So there's no rush at all. We're going to eventually come up to an easy seat. Thanks for being here. As you come into your easy seat, no rush, we'll return to Pranidhana Mudra. So that is thumb tips, middle fingers, ring fingers all touching, pinky fingers and index fingers extended out and touching and resting this in your lap. And this mudra helps us with letting go, releasing stress, helps us to build empowerment and spiritual connection. And let yourself sit tall with dignity, but still finding softness. I devote my practice to something greater than myself. As we're sitting in this posture, notice if you can feel the residuals of your yoga asana movement practice. Originally, the whole purpose of the exercises was to prepare the body to sit in stillness of meditation. Meditation is a direct route to connection with something greater. So today, in the spirit of observing ourselves, we'll be practicing some meditation with breath and then silence. So noticing without any judgment what the mind and body does as we ask it to sit in stillness and silence. Remembering that there's no right or wrong, there is no perfect. There just is whatever comes up. So now we'll practice some box breathing. That's where we inhale, hold, exhale, hold, all in equal measure. So you could imagine that you're drawing a box as we do our count. I'll start by counting us through a 4 count, but then I'll be quiet so you can adjust it to work for you. You can all let the breath go. And then inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold full, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4. Hold full, 4. Exhale, 4. Pause, empty, 4. Continue. Noticing if the mind has pulled you into thoughts or stories. You can return to counting your breath, or you can start to let the breath flow on its own, attempting to just stay in the space between thoughts, the space of awareness, non-judgment. being curious about your experience, not judgmental. Continuing your practice, but becoming aware if any tension has come into the body that you might be able to soften. Space between the teeth, space between the shoulders and the ears, space between the vertebrae. Taking your time, deepening your breath. And bringing your hands to your heart. We devote our practice to something greater than ourselves. May the benefits of our practice serve to uplift all of humanity. If you'd like to chant one round of Om or share a big sigh, let's breathe in. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your practice. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks for being here.